Are we just going to do no harm in the exam room, or might we choose to do no harm outside it?
Welcome to the Our Hen House interview. This is Jasmin Singer.
This is Mariann Sullivan.
And we're so excited today to welcome to the show Dr. Michael Klaper and welcome back our friend Dr. Zach Burns. And they will be talking about how to move medicine forward, both by way of Dr. Klaper's newest book, Moving Medicine Forward, and by the Moving Medicine Forward initiative, of which Dr. Klaper is the executive director and Dr. Burns is the associate director. That's working to change the way medical schools deal with diet. And oh my God, do we need this now more than ever. In addition, Dr. Klaper is a renowned clinician and educator with over 50 years in healthcare, focusing on diet-based interventions to combat chronic diseases. And Dr. Burns is a family medicine practitioner, assistant professor, and a dedicated advocate for plant-based nutrition. I will also say Dr. Burns is here in Rochester, New York. So Mariann and I get the benefit of actually being friends with him in real time. We could say he is a wonderful guy. Dr. Klaper, we are sure you are too. And we hope that you come visit us sometime soon in Rochester. Welcome to our hen house to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is a delight to have you. And as I mentioned, what a time. What a time to be alive. What a time to be discussing these issues. We'll get to all of that in just a moment. But before we do, just a quick reminder about the Our Hen House podcast. Rising Anxieties comes out on Tuesdays, the Hen Report on Thursdays, and the long form interview, that's this, on Fridays. Bonus for Flock members comes out on Monday. And for today, we're going to do a Q&A with the Flock who's here because it's Flock Friday. So if you are listening to this and you're not in the Flock and you want an opportunity to join us once a month live virtually for an interview and for a Q&A session with our guests that month, please go to ourhenhouse.org/support. We are a nonprofit. And for those of you who don't have any money or don't want to support us that way, that's okay. To each their own. Hit subscribe, hit like, leave a comment, send us your love through the ether. All right, let's get into it. Dr. Klaper, let's start with you. We seldom are quite as on top of the breaking news as this, but wouldn't you know it, shortly before we're recording this, Secretary of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr., announced a new program to encourage medical schools to include nutrition advice in their programs. And here we are. That is your book and your campaign in a vegan Whole Foods nutshell. So I would like to approach this interview with the overview that all of these thoughts and ideas are absolutely needed right now, like today, like immediately, like right now. So let's start at the beginning. You recount coming up as a young doctor and realizing how diet was being completely ignored. And I feel like now we're in a place where diet is often recognized as important to health, but most people are still eating as poorly as ever. So how would you say things have changed?
Oh my, important, powerful question, important one. Things have changed, as you say, at least on the awareness level. The fact that Mr. Kennedy get up and talk about getting nutrition taught in medical schools, and everybody I know says, yes, that's a good idea. So the fact that we're that much closer to making that a reality, that's huge, and has a lot to do with podcasters like you folks who have been educating the public and demanding that our doctors know something about nutrition. I think it's raised the pressure and the temperature to reach the public health folks and the legislator folks. So just the awareness changing has certainly been a major advance that I'm really positive about. And you go through a supermarket. I became vegan in 1981, and back then the health food stores were bleak. There was some powdered soy milk in the corner, and that was about it. And now you go into most any supermarket and you see a whole panoply of plant-based food ideas and ingredients, low glycemic pastas and minimally damaging veggie burgers and plant-based.
Is that how they advertise it on the packaging?
Minimally damaging, yes, compared to the real beef burgers. But the yogurts and the cheeses, no one's saying that these are that these are the bastions of healthy food. But at least they are giving a thumbs up to people who are on that plant-based journey, that they don't have to feel that they're bereft of taste and textures and all the social implications of that. Every restaurant, no matter what they serve, steakhouses, they have a vegetarian section on the menu. You can make a plant-based meal happen in most any restaurant, and ask and you shall receive. So there's been significant progress. We're still in the embryonic stages, and this remarkable event has happened where Mr. Kennedy has gotten pledges from 53 of the nation's medical schools, and there's 160 medical schools in the United States, so that's a third of them have committed to come up with some type of nutrition curriculum. Now, what's going to be taught in that is another issue, which Dr. Burns and I still have a lot of work to do to make sure the plant-based message gets strongly delivered. But the fact that it's happening at all, is just remarkable. And even the other 100 medical schools who didn't make that pledge still have the option to incorporate nutrition-based principles into their general curriculum. And so I'm excited about these important couple of inches of progress. They say when the dog plays the violin, don't criticize the quality of the playing. The fact they're playing at all is wonderful. And the same, in fact, these people are talking about teaching medical schools nutrition is important. But a major mission that Dr. Burns is going to be undertaking is we have the list of those 53 medical schools, and we are going to ride herd on them. We're going to ask to see the curriculum that they are proposing be taught and see what kind of input we can get to make sure that the Plant Strong message is delivered clearly in these curricula. But it's an exciting time, so very timely that we're having this discussion. Really appreciate it.
Importantly, I have 4 dogs, and just thanks a lot, Dr. Klaper, because now they're going to want to pick up string instruments. And
Zach, I really want to hear about, obviously, this was just announced and you're just putting together what you're going to be doing. And I really want to hear about how you're going to be handling this project, which sounds just like a huge opportunity. Before we even get to that, you've been only practicing for a few years. You've been out of school for a few years and practicing family medicine. Can you just give us the overview of your experiences? You're not in a lifestyle medicine practice. You're seeing all sorts of different patients. What is your experience of what people know about what they should be eating and what they actually are eating?
Well, first of all, it's really nice to be here. I have 3 mentors here in medicine and in activism, and it's a pleasure. What has practice been like? I've been fully licensed for 1.5 years. It's been a wild ride. Before that, it was 3 years in residency, so I was functionally practicing. What do people know about nutrition? Most of us in our society don't know much at all. We never learned it. It's not part of public education. And in fact, we receive a lot of misinformation and big food advertising and junk. We're bombarded with it on the roadside billboards. It's everywhere. So this is not news. But a lot of us are eating junk as the norm. We're not splurging and having a treat. That's just the food that people are eating is what we consider junk. It's hyper processed. It's high in animal protein and fat. It's minimal in fiber, fruits, veggies, legumes, whole grains, and we just take that for granted. I think most people that's what we eat. Well, we've seen that it has dramatic health consequences, and so that's who Dr. Klaper and I see when our patients come in. People have the predictable consequences of the modern food stream, and it's not pretty. I'm very concerned about it. The chronic disease rates are only growing. By 2030, 50% of Americans are projected to be obese with a BMI 30 plus. BMI isn't everything, right? It's not a perfect metric, but it does correlate with complications. Diabetes is on the rise. 900,000 Americans die of heart related disease every year. That's twice as many people as died from COVID in 2021. This is happening annually, right? So I think that it's good that MAHA is aware of chronic disease and trying to tackle chronic disease. I do have some concerns about the approach.
Yeah. Dr. Klaper, did you want to weigh in on that? You look like you might want to.
No, it's just so great to have Dr. Burns on board with our work here for so many reasons. He's the next generation. He's going to be the receiver of the torch here to carry on the tradition. But he's in communication with his generation. Makes me feel so old. I used to be young too. But the fact that he's tuned in to many of the things that I'm on, he's such a powerful ally, and he's the ray of hope that makes us all feel good there. So, and he's absolutely right. We've got still lots of work to do here to make sure that what's taught is not carnivore propaganda, but it's a doable mission, and we'll stay on it.
Ray of hope, could you just chime in, because you mentioned that you had some I'm going to call you that from now on.
Ray of
hope.
I like it. Yeah.
That's, it's so funny though. That's what we all call you.
Could be my Instagram handle.
You mentioned that you have, some hopes and fears, I guess, about this new initiative. We don't know a lot about it yet. Can you go into a little bit more detail about what you're worried about, what it is you're trying to prevent from happening and what you're hoping you could make happen?
Sure. So I think it's fantastic that the government has gotten 53 medical schools to commit to 40 hours of nutrition curricula. We just have to put it in perspective. 40 hours is still meager. Med students are studying, they have thousands and thousands of hours of classes. So we got to celebrate small victories, but put in perspective. There are a few facets to this. When they talk about nutrition in the curricula, it's loose. I think that's good. We want medical schools to really have the final say on the curriculum and not the federal government. But what they're doing is the MAHA, RFK Jr., they're encouraging these core competencies. Some of these competencies came out of an expert review. It was a 2024 article in the Journal of the American Medical Association. So it was a legitimate review, and they came out with 36 competencies, and they're all reasonable. One of them actually is we should help medical students make the connection between our food system and personal and planetary health. So that's pretty progressive, I'd say.
Seriously. I guess that it's not personal, planetary, and animal health, but it's a step.
It's a step. But what RFK Jr. has done is he's taken a select number of those competencies and added a bunch of his own. And I haven't gotten to see the entire list, but there's reporting that some of those competencies are a little wacky. The med schools are not required to incorporate them, but they're a little wacky. And importantly, several of the competencies encourage medical students to learn about the national nutrition guidelines. Well, that's interesting because recently those guidelines were updated and they literally inverted the food pyramid. So the pointy part is on the bottom and meat and dairy are featured prominently on top. The protein requirement for Americans just in the last month, it went from 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram body weight to 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram body weight. So that's up to double the previous protein requirement. Well, that strikes me as problematic because we were already consuming too much protein based on vast bodies of evidence around how our bodies handle protein and what we actually need, which is more fiber and more nutrients. These are just a few issues that come to mind when we're thinking about what the curricula will consist of.
I would like to shape this to a more digestible form here, in that what we don't want is for them to come up with in the third year of medical school, a 20-hour course on scurvy and beriberi and nutrition-based diseases, the things we'll never see, and call it a course here. And I've often had professors who've come up to me, arms full, look, Dad, you want us to teach nutrition. The curriculum is already so full of it, chock full with anatomy and physiology and pharmacology. What do you want us to drop out of that curriculum to make room for your nutrition course? Ha ha. And this is the absolutely opposite approach of what we're advocating here. The point is, medical school is classically 4 years. The first 2 years are the basic sciences: anatomy, physiology, pathology, pharmacology, microbiology. The last 2 years are rotations through the clinical size. You start with obstetrics, delivering babies, and pediatrics and children, and internal medicine and surgery, etc. And the point is, nutrition should not crowd out anything. It should be interwoven with every one of those courses. When you're studying anatomy in first year, let's talk about the anatomy of the digestive system and how it turns food into energy. Physiology, let's talk about the physiology of hunger and elimination and how you can optimize it. Pathology, well, these diseases are mostly caused by what the patient is eating. Let's weave the patient's diet into the pathology. Pharmacology, the action of drugs is going to be dependent on what the person is eating, their fat stores. So it should be woven into all the basic sciences. And certainly once the student gets out into the clinic, obstetrics, these women are eating too much protein, fat, and calories. They're winding up huge. They're delivering big babies that require cesarean sections. They develop gestational diabetes. Pediatrics, we're seeing a childhood obesity, childhood diabetes. Nutrition should be woven into that discipline every week. An outpatient pediatric clinic, you should sit down and talk about these patients' diet. Certainly in internal medicine, all the heart disease is from what they're eating. Surgery, what are they doing up in that operation? They're taking out gallbladders, infected colon from what their patients are eating. It should be woven into all 4 years of all the medical disciplines. So when the young doctor graduates, he has a good understanding, or she has a good understanding of what they're going to be seeing once they get out in practice, and how to help these patients, how they find a plant-strong dietitian and work with them to get these folks onto a plant-strong diet there. So this is what we're advocating actually comes to pass. We'll see what kind of resistance there is, but this is what
I noticed in that article, and obviously I don't know any details, but one of Harvard Medical School's pushbacks was that they are already incorporating, they don't need separate nutrition courses, just kind of like what you said. They're incorporating it into other courses. Do you know how much they are, or do you just think that is an idea that is starting, at least in some of the best medical schools, to start to take hold?
Choice B there. We think it's going to be inculcated in all the best medical schools, but you bet I want to get my hands on the Harvard curricula and see what they are teaching. Absolutely. Yeah.
So just to paint the picture for people who aren't in this medical education space, there is a national initiative through the American College of Lifestyle Medicine for medical schools to take on a certain amount of lifestyle medicine, right, in the curriculum. So this predated MAHA and RFK Jr. And they have these levels: bronze, silver, gold. And medical schools are being encouraged to get one of these certifications, and then they can sell it to prospective students. And if they have a certain level of intensity of lifestyle medicine, those students graduate and they can sit for the boards of lifestyle medicine. So it's a whole thing, and Harvard has been involved in that. There are schools. What's interesting is that when you look at those 53 schools who signed on, it doesn't necessarily include some of the schools that have been most active in incorporating lifestyle medicine already. For example, University of South Carolina, Greenville, these guys are pioneers and they have culinary medicine. They're doing all this stuff. They didn't sign on. Not surprisingly, the universities where there's been a lot of drama and debate and threats of defunding from the federal government, they have not signed on. So I don't think it's a perfect match between who's invested in nutrition and who signs the ticket there.
Well, I might not have gone to medical school, but I do watch The Pit. So I feel like that
That's where
got
you
me
are.
it got me at least 2 years.
Definitely.
Um, Dr. Klaper, it seems obvious now that we have your book, but it it kind of didn't occur to me before that there would be controversy about which diet should be taught, since it is weirdly not obvious to everyone or to every doctor that a whole food plant-based diet is the way to go. In fact, part of your book compares a whole food plant-based diet with 2 diets that have been popularized and are probably embraced by many people in the medical profession. I could answer this given the fact that I watched The Pit, but I'll give you the honors of answering it, Dr. Kleber. Can you tell us a bit about your efforts to compare the Lufkin means and whole food plant-based diets?
I've been in the nutrition game for 50, count them 50 years already,
Wow.
and I've seen that pendulum swing back and forth. And right now it's swung over to the meat lovers side, and the carnivore diet, the paleo diet, all these are in the ascendancy. And why? Because as my friend, the late Dr. John McDougall used to say, people love to hear good news about bad habits. Ooh, you can eat all the steak you want. Ooh, bacon is good for you. Ooh, doctor says so. And that whoop, and the American public, not known for great discernment when it comes to nutritional advice, jumps on that wagon, and we're seeing an upswing here. As the experienced physician, I know what is going to happen, and I'll put $100 bill on the table. That the results of packing the human intestine, we are plant-eating hominids by anatomy, by physiology. You take our plant-eating body and you pack it through it full of animal flesh 3 times a day. Now let that percolate for a few years, and I guarantee within 48 months, the medical journals are going to be erupting with studied carnivore diet, a higher risk of colon cancer, paleo diet, higher risk of vascular dementia, meat-based diet, increased risk of autoimmune disease. And my right eyebrow won't go up this much. Yep, that's what's going to happen. And and it'll hit the 6 o'clock news. You'll see, and suddenly those veggie burgers are going to start looking much better, and that pendulum's going to swing back here. But right now we're in this meat-based phase, and we talked about Dr. Casey Means, the nominee to be Surgeon General. I'm sure she's a lovely person, and she says some really good things. She knows the importance of good nutrition. Yay! But I was so disappointed when I read her book in that basically came down her main problem. Enemy is ultra processed foods. So as long as it's whole foods and organically raised, it's okay. Doesn't matter if it's plant or animal. I've had people do good on a vegan diet. I've had people do good on a meat-based diet. As long as it's organic and pasture raised or whatever, then it's okay. Well, for a scientist to say something that there's no difference in the body between broccoli and pig's anus in a hot dog, that they have the same effects in the body. Are you kidding me, doctor? Have you read the studies on that higher red meat consumption, you get higher all-cause mortality? Have you not seen these studies? And she blithely passes over that. The word vegan appears in her book once, maybe twice, and never mentions it again. Yeah. People can be healthy on a vegan diet, never says another thing about it. And Dr. Lufkin from USC, wherever he's from, he's against sugar. Yay! And a lot of bad diseases are from too much fructose in the body. And he's right. It's the cause of fatty liver. It's the cause of inflammatory bowel disease. He's absolutely right. But again, and he also, people can be healthy on a vegan diet, but and then he gives his recommendations, full of meat but low sugar. Well, both these doctors are missing the point. Dr. Colin Campbell wrote this wonderful book entitled Whole, WHOLE. And he's saying, stop focusing on the vitamin B content of Betty Crocker's chocolate cake or whatever. It's the whole food stream that goes through your body. We don't eat nutrients, we eat whole foods. And if that whole food stream is of whole plant foods going through your system day after day, good things are going to happen in your gut, in your bloodstream, in your tissues. But you start adulterating that with meat and dairy and oil and sugar, health is going to take a nosedive. And that's the ultimate truth of it. And Dr. Means, Dr. Lufkin, they're so fixated on their tiny little aspect of what they think nutrition's about. It's really disappointing. And so Dr. Means is called Good Energy. Thank you, Mariann, for putting that in. And Dr. Lufkin, a great title. I wish I had thought about it. His book is What Lies I Taught in Medical School. Yeah. And he was teaching that, I think he was teaching that meat is bad for it. Now, I don't believe that anymore. So Lufkin, Lufkin, his lies are taught in medical school, and it's sad. They both missed the point here. We are plant-eating hominids. Honor that natural law. You'll wind up in a lean, healthy body. Start eating the diet of the mountain lion, you're going to wind up with lots of bad diseases here. So my colleagues have a lot to learn.
On the MAHA movement, it's tricky for Dr. Klaper and me and our team, right? How do we help people navigate this stuff? Because they're saying some things that make sense and they're taking a stand, and they're recognizing that diet and lifestyle has contributed to chronic disease. They want to do something about it. Okay, good. But they're champions, right, of the MAHA movement. There's lots of reason to be skeptical. They lose credibility in certain areas. Dr. Means has this startup. I don't know how big it's become. It's called Levels, and it basically sell memberships so it can scrutinize your blood sugar variability using continuous glucose monitors. So it's this kind of new brand of like biofeedback and personal health. I don't think is really the solution to chronic disease. I think it's for people who are really, interested. Honestly, I think it'd be cool to have a CGM. I would wear it. I think it'd be fascinating. But this is not the answer to create more technology and biofeedback tools, and get everyone a membership so they can do this. It does come down to the basics, right? And it's what we're eating 3 times a day. It's not about supplements. It's not about checking lab panels that are like, 100 labs long and cost the patient thousands of dollars. This isn't a viable option. Then you have RFK Jr. himself. I have trouble trusting someone's health advice when they get artificial tans. I'm sorry. And I also worry about, he's done a lot of policy that is really detrimental to public health. So he's gutted the CDC. Vaccines have never been less popular. It's very hard to get people here in Rochester to get a vaccine. So you don't have to be in rural Texas. So it matters, these conversations that are coming out of the MAHA movement. And overall, I think even if RFK Jr. has good intentions, now he's gotten himself wrapped up with the boss and the base, and he's constrained, not to mention the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry. I think he's constrained to do a lot, even if he wanted to. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. The MAHA movement is such an interesting combination of finally breaking through in some ways to talk about these issues that we've been wanting to talk about for a long time, and then saying all the wrong things about them. It's very frustrating, but at least we're talking about it. And Dr. Klaper, one of the I'm not sure how much we could go into it, but I have to say, as a lawyer, I so appreciated your idea I mean, because you were facing the fact that not everybody agrees on what the right diet is, and you can't just, we're not going to get to go into medical schools and tell them, no, this is the right one. This is the one you should teach. And having this idea of creating these legal arguments and having people having legal designed after appellate arguments or trials, like, and evidence, bringing evidence forth. The law is always trying to find not the truth necessarily, but the closest thing we can come to the truth, because you can't always know the truth. So I just want to say, I love that idea. And I think that's a very powerful way for, now that this debate has been opened, for you to bring in, these arguments, because you're not saying my way or the highway. You're saying, here's a time-tested method for finding out the truth. And we all know if we're actually looking at evidence, we're going to win. I mean, come on. I'm not sure there's a question there. If you want to talk anything about your idea for bringing that legal argument, I just wanted to mention that I loved it. I loved it.
Go ahead.
Zach, you've actually experienced this situation fairly recently of being in medical school. And do you think this reluctance to add nutrition to the curriculum is, I mean, the argument they seem to give, which seems ridiculous, is there's not enough time. I mean, if it's important, it's important. Like, you have to make the time. I don't know. But do you think that's true, or do you think it's hiding something else? What was your experience of medical school? And I know that you had a lot of trouble just bringing up the issue, that it was kind of a DIY effort on your part. So what do you think was really behind that?
Sure. So I'll give you a glimpse into my medical education in terms of nutrition. I had a great education, and I appreciate my faculty. And you have to learn some things about medicine that don't, it's not all nutrition. Like, it's important to have a diverse curriculum.
I know.
What we did learn of nutrition was what Dr. Klaper mentioned. It was these really obscure vitamin deficiencies that we don't see in the United States. You might see them. These are important topics in global health and epidemiology. We're talking about vitamin deficiencies, protein deficiencies, like when you see those really horrible ads for like donate to children in sub-Saharan Africa, and their bellies are distended because they're actually protein deficient. We just don't see it. If you ask any doctor in this society, they only see protein deficiency in people with terminal cancer or AIDS or certain kidney diseases. So the nutrition we did learn, maybe about 10 course hours, was irrelevant to modern practice in this area. Why was it that way? I think there are a few reasons. One, our professors didn't learn about it either. And doctors, we like to be confident about what we're teaching. So they didn't know the information. They can't teach to the next generation if they don't know it. Number two, I think the pharmaceutical industry is involved in every facet of medical research and education, and they've really captured healthcare. And they don't necessarily want the next generation of doctors to be fired up about diet and lifestyle. Right now, 80% of antibiotics in the country go to farmed animals. And the highest grossing drugs of all time are for chronic diseases. Things like, if you've had a stent after a heart attack, or if your cholesterol is high, you need a statin, or some of these fancy biologics that more and more people are requiring for their autoimmune conditions, which in large part are coming from complications of metabolic syndrome like obesity. So, and they donate to medical schools, right? Drug companies, and they heavily influence the medical guidelines coming from our professional organizations. There are guidelines that get updated regularly, and they say, all right, you have a new diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. What should you do? And the organizations that are so trusted to give us that info are taking generous annual donations from Big Pharma. So are they going to be as outspoken as they can and should about the role of diet and lifestyle? No, they're going to say, all right, first line, pay lip service to lifestyle. Then immediately after that, you could either start metformin or GLP-1 like Ozempic. And that's the juicy stuff. That's what med students are made to think is important when they're going to go out and practice. They really need to know how to become glorified drug dealers. But when you show medical students that there's another path, and you can actually not just manage but reverse the vast majority of these chronic diseases, they also get excited. And that's the fulfilling part of our work in the organization, moving medicine forward, is we get to expose some of these students to lifestyle medicine for the first time. Or it's another touch point if they've heard about it some. And we show them that it's a viable way to practice. It's a viable career path. And they don't have to just refill meds and increase the dose every visit. They could actually heal people.
We have no illusions about the resistance that is going to be forthcoming here. There's a lot of doctors who are not thrilled about this. The heart surgeons are going to see them doing. If people actually start eating healthier, there's going to be less bypasses done. There are less stents placed. The general surgeons are going to be taking out fewer gallbladders and fewer colons. The endocrinologists are going to be treating fewer folks with diabetes. This threatens their practice model, and it threatens their financial model. And it's going to take some creative work with the administrators, with the insurance companies. There are ways to reward doctors and patients for not getting sick, for staying out of the hospital. I had an insurance executive, plant-based fella, vegan insurance worker, said, Doc, every time we pay for a bypass, coronary artery bypass, it costs us $250,000. For every bypass that is not done, we got that $250,000. We'll pay the doctor $20,000 for keeping his patient healthy for 10 years. We'll pay the patient $20,000 for staying healthy. We're still sitting on almost $200,000 that we can do other things with. The bean counters need to change the way the beans are flowing, but there's ways to do this. But it's going to take some spade work down in the basement there in the structure of the administration and finances. But it's doable. But we're a long way from fait accompli. But I'm optimistic the truth will prevail here.
Yeah, I want to hear more about the program and specifically the masterclass. And I just wanted to add too about your book. The tone of your book was I think it was a great tone to take, and also is going to be so powerful now that you do have this opening, because you're not really blaming anybody, and I was thinking, when you think of those heart surgeons, they've spent their career thinking they were saving people's lives. Well, maybe not all of them, maybe some of them are in it for the money, but I bet a lot of them just think that they're doing the right thing, and it must be difficult to make these adjustments. But I think the way you approach it in this compassionate way is going to be very, very helpful. And even Dr. Casey Means, you say a lot of nice things about her, which I'm really glad you did, now that she's in the catbird seat. But anyway, my question is more, I want to hear about, because there are different elements of your program, and I want people to hear what they are as part of this interview. And so tell us about the masterclass.
We have a 12-unit masterclass on applied plant-based nutrition and how to use it, how it has beneficial effects to the cardiovascular system, the GI system, the nervous system, etc., what it does in the body when you eat a plant-based food stream. These are 90-minute videos that we did a while back, and people who actually joined Rochester Lifestyle Medicine Institute have access to our master class in plant-based nutrition, and want to get it out in the general knowledge there. And by the way, the cardiac surgeons, I've spoken to some of them that are so discouraged because they do these 8-hour operations on overweight patients, and they limp out of the hospital and head right to the fast food restaurant and start eating more burgers and clog up their grafts. And this is money wasted. That money could be used to fix the bridges and the roads, to put kids in college. It's a waste of taxpayers' money to this black hole of medical care. So there's a more positive future ahead of us here. But again, we're still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I think I noticed that the master class doesn't count for continuing medical education. Is one of your goals to get that?
Absolutely. Dr. Burns, where are we with that process? I think
It's
we're just close.
underway. Yeah. We will certainly have it count soon, maybe in the
Oh,
next
that's
couple months.
great.
Mhm.
Yes.
That is huge. I mean, also being in a profession that requires continuing
In the education.
credits, like, that is really
not worth it.
gold. Nobody
I
wants
can
to
tell
take a
you
course
that
they're not getting credit for.
you're right. So this master class came out when I was in medical school, and I had this amazing role of facilitating the discussion between Dr. Klaper and the guest panelist as part of the class. And I felt like the luckiest med student in the country. And I was getting this education, which has become really integral to my practice. And so I had to go out of my way to get it. This is not part of the curriculum, but if we can show more students this master class, especially once we get our foot in the door with one of our lectures to the relevant medical student group, or even sometimes their entire class, then we follow up with the master class. We go deeper into the physiology, and it starts to make sense. It clicks for these scientific thinkers who want to understand not just, okay, yeah, I'm tired, I eat your broccoli, it's intuitive. They want to understand exactly why it's good for the inside of the blood vessel walls, why it discourages the deposition of plaque, why people are less likely to get uh, hyperglycemia in their brain and develop neurodegenerative diseases through the standard diet, and how to reverse that process through healthy eating. So it becomes academic and really fascinating. We want to get this master class out there.
It needs to be. I mean, I realized this was a long time ago, but 20 something years ago, I went to school for nutrition, for holistic nutrition, and Mariann Nessel was one of the instructors. And I had a friend who had been vegan for like 7 years at the time, and went to see Mariann, and Mariann said to her, "You look like you need meat." And the friend started eating meat. I mean, it was, I'm like, this is probably, I don't know, from my position where this is all in the periphery for me. I don't work within this field, but obviously as a vegan activist and animal rights activist, it's very much coming into my inbox. I I really am blown away when I see things like that by someone as famous and well known as a nutritional expert as Mariann Nessel. Dr. Klaper, I'm curious, you've mentioned that you've been doing this for, I think you said like 500 years. Is that, you said
Approximately, yes, right.
Okay. So like how have things been changing in that time? I mean, I know you had to like reconstitute your TVP that you bought at the health food store in the corner where everyone smelled like patchouli. I get it. But like you still seem like a hopeful person. And I don't understand that. I mean, maybe I'm just like a curmudgeon, but tell me about how things are changing and if you genuinely feel like we're going to turn a corner.
Yes, I generally feel that we're going to turn the corner. America's going to become plant-based one way or the other. And I'll let that sit there and percolate for a minute there. But meat's going to become more and more expensive as the climate changes, and plant foods are going to be cheaper and more economical. People, just for the economics, will swerve towards more plant foods. But that anecdote that you related regarding Mariann Nessel, telling that person they need meat, I'll put a $100 bill on the table. As that scene unfolded, one of the first things the person said, somewhere along the line, she said the V word. She says, "I'm vegan and I X,
Mm-hmm.
Y, Z. I don't have energy or whatever." And that's going to immediately get you the response, you need to eat meat. There is a huge anti-vegan stereotype, anti-vegan mindset out there for all sorts of reasons. that it's threatening to people. It's, everybody knows if vegan didn't do well, therefore the whole thing is dangerous. We all have heard the litany there. And Mariann disappointingly unfolded her role in that. And for that reason, depending on who I'm talking to, I seldom use the V word in common company here, and I seldom use it in front of medical audiences. I just don't want to evoke that response in them. So we use pleasant or pleasant words to substitute plant-based and plant predominant, plant strong. That is true. If someone eats a small piece of meat once a week, probably nothing terrible is going to happen. I can't say that it's in intellectual honesty that it's an evil thing to do. It's evil from the animal's point of view. It's evil from the plant's point of view. But yes, it's just true, and we can't be so rigid because it drives people off there. And so be careful about opening that can of anti-vegan sentiment there, because it's even with scientists and doctors, they're so threatening to them. It's for so many reasons that it's not worth unfolding that scenario there. So I think that was behind most of what we're seeing. So knowing that the science is solid, that's the issue. When I have to see now, many of these folks who adopt a paleo diet or carnivore diet initially get better. And they lose weight because they stopped eating the white bread and the dairy and the oils, and stop eating the white bread, flour products, dairy products, and oils. You'll lose weight, and the weight loss will make your insulin receptors function better. It'll improve your lipids. And people say, "Aha! See, it's the best diet." But a 6-month study or 12-month study showing the beneficial changes in numbers does not equal longevity and human health. Now, you follow these people along 10 years, 20 years, and see who's still alive. Now, you will find that the plant eaters have a huge advantage. So I have absolute confidence that we are plant-eating hominids. We got fingers on our hands, not claws. We've got if we need validation from the universe, the enzymes in our saliva is amylase for digesting starches. If that's not a clue from the universe about what we're supposed to be eating, there's no question the plant eaters are going to do better in the long-term medical studies. They're the only thing to keep your eye on. So let the winds blow. Keep, like the Desiderata says, stake your truth clearly and quietly. It will find its way to the surface. I have confidence in the truth of this. They say you can't keep a hat pin in a cloth bag for very long. The point comes out.
I just want to say that I mean, I actually have some hope here, which anybody who listens to the podcast knows that it's not something I'm well known for. And it's because of, I mean, this whole conversation we've been having about what happened in the newspapers today, and the fact that here you are, having done all of this work, having written, I mean, a lifetime of work, having written the book. Then Zach, you're out getting the continuing medical education credits. Like it's like the universe got you guys poised. Like if you weren't here, the only people chiming in would be, the paleo people. Well, there are other plant-based people, obviously. It's not just you, but specifically from the medical point of view and from the medical school point of view, it really does seem like the universe is speaking that this book is. I wish the book was coming out tomorrow and not next month, because the timing could not be, and it's because you did all this work based. You took a chance that this was going to matter, and the universe is really making that happen. And I know that there's more that we want to talk about. I don't know, maybe we should save it for bonus, because you don't only talk about medical education in the book, but also about clinical work and what a clinic should look like. So maybe we can talk about that in the bonus content.
Yes, one of my favorite chapters was a day in the disease reversal clinic, which should be part of every hospital. You're walking.
It absolutely should be.
Absolutely, there should be pediatric clinic, gastroenterology, disease reversal clinic, and I said every doctor's office should be a disease reversal clinic. These are eminently reversible diseases, and we talk about the physiology of how that happens and how to make it happen.
And
Yeah.
ultimately, the book is about the next generation and moving things forward. And it's optimistic and hopeful. And I think this current trainees, whether they're students or residents, they get it. And I think they're more likely to make that connection between human health, the environment, and animals because the pressures on the environment are increasing. Young people today are concerned about climate change and other environmental degradation. They see that the beef is the number one driver of deforestation and biodiversity loss and mass extinction. They get these things, and it also, unlike some of our colleagues, Dr. Klaper and I are out of the closet as vegans. And I think that's actually a really like an appropriate position to take as a physician. Are we just going to do no harm in the exam room, or might we choose to do no harm outside it? Are we going to make the connection between our protein economy and antibiotic resistance and the next pandemic, all these zoonotic infections? We're going to realize that climate change has an impact on human health. So when you start to put these things together, and it becomes really clear that that's the reason that you can't, as you're feeling a little sleepy, maybe you should have more red meat in the diet. No, there are other ways to go about it because we don't have the resources for more people to enjoy more meat. We're running out of resources swiftly. So that's my take, and I am optimistic that more people coming up in healthcare feel that way too.
Good. I'm really glad to hear that. And Zach, when we interviewed you last time, that was one of my favorite moments of our hen house history ever was, and I can't remember specifically exactly, but it had something to do with me asking you if like the first do no harm ethos, if it was like somewhat awkward to bring it up with your clients. And you were like, Jasmin, you're an idiot. Why would you ask me that? You didn't say that, but you thought it a little bit. No, you were like, why don't you think there's a problem with that question? Like, don't you think that's sad? And I was like, who is this Dr. Burns? It was so refreshing, especially because all of us listening to this, all of us have had to walk into a doctor's office and deal with ignorance.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's mind-boggling that this
And
hasn't.
it's so true that the minute, like the first thing they ask you, if especially as you pointed out, Dr. Klaper, fatigue. If you mention anything like that, as if there weren't other causes of fatigue in the universe, they find out you're vegan and they assume that's the issue. It like closes down the conversation. That has happened so many times.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Quick thought experiment, very briefly. So imagine, say you have this doctor you really like. Would you still trust them if you found out they abused their spouse? Maybe not.
Right.
That'd probably be a red flag. What if they abused their dog? What if they paid someone else to abuse pigs? In other words, they ate pork, right? What's the difference? So I think you start to erode trust if you are participating in animal cruelty, whether it's directly or not.
Yeah. 1,000,000,000%.
said.
That's such a perfect note to end on. But Dr. Klaper, can you please reiterate the name of your book and tell people like the best way for them to follow you? Because you're no stranger to the digital sphere. You're always popping up with videos and podcasts. So can you just tell our listeners a little bit about how to follow your work?
Indeed. Thank you. The book is Moving Medicine Forward. It's the name of our nonprofit organization. It's available now on Amazon for pre-sale, and the more pre-sales we get, the higher the ranking and the lower the price will come down. So if you want to support us, go to Amazon now and pre-order your copy, and it'll be delivered to you. It will come out in hard copy in the bookstores April 7th. And it's a great gift to give to your doctor. Or buy 2 copies, one for yourself and one for your doctor. And if you would like to follow us, go to our website, movingmedforward.com. movingmedforward.org. And you can follow us on Instagram, and I think we have a Facebook page too. So I'm sure the handles will be published in the show notes.
Mhm. Absolutely. And Dr. Burns, how can people follow your work?
I keep all my stuff on my personal site. It's www.herbivores.life. Herbivores.life. I have a blog and some longer form essays.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both so much. I know you're going to stick around for a Q&A, and I know there's some questions brewing already, including I have some. But this has been a delightful conversation, truly. And for those of you listening, those of you in person, as well as those of you tuning in right now, whether it's through your favorite podcatcher or through YouTube, we're so happy you're here. So thank you for tuning in, and please subscribe, hit like, comment, share the word, spread the love, and we will talk to you next time.